Hi, thank you for watching. I'm the Cosmic Siren. I am the activist of the unconscious, sharing my truth so that you can find your truths. I, like you, have been in a loop, a default, in a pattern, because I was not aware that I am three in one. I am the conscious, the unconscious, and the subconscious. I promised that I was going to make this video, and here I am. Now, the dream space is a beautiful space. Every night when I go to the dream world, I'm always excited. I always ask a question and then I go in. Now, it doesn't take any special skills, but you need to be very patient with yourself. Now, there are people who dream a lot. They dream a lot. The only difference is, what do you do with the dream that you have? Because we do dream. Sometimes we just only get a snippet. It doesn't matter if you remember your dream or not. That's the first thing. So if you don't remember, you're still going to be working in the dream space. Sometimes it also depends on your nature. For people who have more of their nature in the intuitive world, you can look at your astrology to see that if you look at the places where Pisces is, Neptune, so you'll probably be more sensitive. Even your moon could also affect your dream world. But for some people, they will remember easily than the other, but everyone can develop your dream world. Actually, when you develop your dream world, your dream consciousness, you develop your psychic gifts, because that is where the intuition is actually playing. So, sometimes, now I didn't script this or have an outline because I really want my intuition to come true and channel. So this is me channeling. Yeah, I don't like to say I'm channeling something else. I am channeling me. It's just a part of me that has been in the background for a while. So if I forget, then just take it as wherever I say the information is what you need to. And yeah. So some people will remember more than the other, but it doesn't matter. Eventually you will. What do you do with the little dreams that you have? That's the first thing. Do you write it down? Because when you write it down, you're telling your unconscious that I'm ready to play with you more. Because whenever you leave, you think you're making your decisions. You're not making your decisions only. And you're only lying to yourself. If you think you want to do this and you're going to accomplish it by yourself, there's something else that plays in you. There is the unconscious. Why do you think you spend this much hours sleeping? And then when you wake up, it looks like you only slept for a few hours or a few minutes or a few seconds. That's you. You were in the unconscious world, doing and recorrecting the mistakes that you make. Yeah. And that's why whenever you make a mistake in this daytime and you don't forgive yourself, you're only injuring yourself. Because when you go to sleep, the aspect of it, you are rewriting the effects of the unconscious, of your mistake, the effect of the conscious. Whatever mistake you've made, whatever assumption you think that mistake is going to cause for you, may not be correct. And even if it looks like, oh, I made a mistake and this is the consequences, and you do experience the consequences, there is a redesign about the consequences. It's still going to work out for your good. But unfortunately, the problem is, and that's why I call myself the activist of the unconscious, because they keep telling me this. We keep on doing what they are doing. Why do you keep on doing what they are doing? Why do you make assumptions that you know the future already? Because you see, the future changes, and it's always important for you to know that the dream world is not telling you the future. I have made a very big mistake in my past, even because I decided to follow my dreams. I've made a lot of mistakes, and that's how I learned more about the dream world. Because unfortunately, in this life, we only learn what we fail the most at. Whatever you are very good at, guess what? That's what is going to be your biggest fall. Because it's from your mistakes that you learn. You see, the dream world then takes the learnings that you've made and say, okay, what is the knowledge? And then they put it in you. Now, what do you see in the dream? What's really happening in the dream? Are they just characters playing? No, they aren't. They are all you. I said that we are three types. We are three. We have the unconscious, who is processing information of the past, even information about everything in your DNA, even information as far as back as the history of mankind, depending on how deep unconsciously you are. Some people are so deep that their unconscious will have to process even the lessons that people that have been claimed as gods have learned. So, because their lives are not perfect, if you're unaware of them, you will find that you are making the mistakes of the gods by default. So, when you start to be conscious, even you in your dream space, you will start seeing even dreams that are similar to myths that you've never heard of, because that's part of your soul memory. And whether you know it or not, your life is reacting that mistake. It is reacting it as a mistake, because even though it's not a real mistake, it is a mistake when it's not seen in the lights. And another thing that the dream space does is that it also processes your past traumas. So if you someone that, like me, I've faced a lot of trauma, your brain, which is the unconscious, naturally heals itself. The way it heals itself is in the dream space. And in the dream space, it will show you that these are patterns of belief. Because you see, the thing about trauma is that trauma will try to break you down. It will try to tell you that the mistake you've made, the event that has happened to you, will happen to you again. Now, whether you say you believe this or not, it doesn't matter. If it's in the dream, you keep reenacting similar stories, then that means that you actually do believe it. Now, even if you say in the dream, I don't reenact it, well, it could be you're not conscious yet. And when you become conscious and you're working on your healing, then you start seeing it in your dream space. And the moment you see it, that's the solution. Sometimes you don't need to do much. Look out for the clues in your dream space. First of all, everyone in the dream space is you. Even though we are three in one, the unconscious aspect of you, as I said, could be a god. It could be even somebody else. Yes, somebody else could be your parallel, and you are mirroring that person. And that's why that person came to your field, because that person is still you in a different form. Now, that's a little complicated, but some people will get this. And you are a mother. Whether you have a child or not, you could have that archetype in you. And that's why you find that in real life, because you have not recognized that you have that archetype in you, in real life, you end up mothering people, nurturing people at your own expense. Because every archetype has the overexpression of it. The difference between good and bad is overexpression. When something is put in the right amount, in the right space and time, then it's perfect. But if not, it will become disastrous. But how does it not become disastrous when you're not even aware of it? So that's why look out for the archetypes that are in the dream space. Many of us, we all have the mother archetype one way or the other. Even as a man, you still have this, because the mother archetype has an effect on you, and you have a definition of what it means to be a mother. And sometimes it could mean you actually acting counteracting to the mother aspects, because you feel the mother is someone external, rather than realize that you can actually be nurturing. If you have a problem with the mother archetype, and which you are not nurturing enough, because there is a view of what a mother is, it will be a pattern, and then you probably see this in the dream if you're conscious of this. And maybe that's why you're seeing this, because you are already in this eating part. Look at what the archetypes are doing in the dream. So in going back to the one we were saying, so you could be a mother, you could be a lover in the dream. Now, being a lover means you're a lover externally to someone outside, and this is probably working on how you love people. But the most important lover that you are is your lover. So every time you see yourself in the dream space performing that role of a lover, whether consciously or forcefully, that aspect is yourself. Even the other person that is another gender, whether it's expressed as somebody you know or somebody you don't know, that's the masculine. As a woman, that's the masculine aspect of yourself. And if you see it coming as a form that you don't like, then it's an indication that there is an aspect of yourself you don't like, that you don't accept. Perhaps the world has told you is dirty, and that's why you see a dirty man. Think about it. What do you feel about yourself? Now, you say, I don't feel that about myself. You could. Because remember, your mind processes more information than the five senses. So if you're around people that constantly picture that you are dirty because they feel they are dirty, or that your life is messy, you will end up seeing somebody that is messy coming to you. Now, if it looks fearful, forceful, it means you're not accepting it. Now, I come from an African background, and in Africa, when you see a man, they call it spirit husband. And then they relate it with when this happens, you don't get married. But if you think about it, now this is very controversial, and I don't really, because I said this is my truth, and this is, you can check this truth academically, you can check it in psychology, for young psychology. This aspect is yourself. Yes, it could be a spirit, whatever you call it. It's your unconscious, and most times the path is to lead you to find yourself. The path is to lead you to find yourself. However you decide to do that, whether it's by spirituality. Now, you'd notice it's spirituality, not religion. Be religious, whatever you want, but spirituality is about breaking the norm. It's about, even when your religion has a belief against this, if this is part of you, you are accepting it first. And this is the key towards it. This is not the problem. It's not the man that you see that is the problem of your life, to be honest with you. You'd notice that you are also, if you evaluate your relationships, there are patterns of behaviors that you behave unconsciously, or you don't even behave it, but it's a perception of those people. Why? Because they see more than you. They see your unconscious, and that unconscious will look ugly to them because you think you are ugly. So why do people perceive me this way? Well, because you perceive yourself this way. And the unconscious is trying to get you to familiarize yourself with it. Accept yourself for what you are. But instead, you say, oh, I just had a bad dream and something bad is going to happen. Well, unfortunately, because that's what you expect, it will. Because rather than study what aspect of myself is coming to me in the dream, but when you start working on yourself, when you start being spiritual, for men and women, you notice you find a lot of those dreams more frequently because you are merging with more of yourself. And the more you do a shadow work on, I want to accept the side of me. I want to accept the side of me that is more, that is clumsy. Yeah, so what? I am clumsy. And to be honest, it's not that you're clumsy. It's that because you haven't accepted that, yes, you can make mistakes. You end up becoming clumsy because it's a force, it's energy. And then when you do that, you'd see that maybe you'd even find in a dream, you see a clumsy person having that role of a lover to you. Because that lover is you, and you have decided to be a lover of yourself. Every time you decide to do an healing work, you will probably see more of this dream. Young psychologists say refers to this for a man as the animal expressing itself. It's the unconscious. It's the hidden, suppressed aspect of us, and until we accept it, it will control our lives. And so, yes, they say it controls you. It is you controlling yourself. It's like your unconscious is beyond time and space, and if you suppress it, it will push the dam and flood, and there will be no control. So why not have a relationship with yourself? Even simple activities like journaling, talking to areas of yourself that you don't understand will make the difference. And you see how your world externally will start to change, because your unconscious also influences your physical world. And yes, it will look like your unconscious is your enemy, but it is not. It is as much as an enemy as your muscles will be for a child, your legs will be when you've not mastered it. It is as much enemy as it will be as your as someone who is waking up from a coma and their body is to them. Whenever look at the law of life, look at muscles, there is always contraction and constriction, dilation. Look at breathing in. Can you see the unity? Receiving and collecting. It's a cyclic nature. That is the nature of life. That is the nature of the logical and the intuitive. There has to be a union. There has to be a cooperation. There has to be an ease. If you think you're going to do life alone with your efforts, you're going to be disappointed. And if you think you're going to do life alone with your intuition and not do anything, and hate your ego and hate your consciousness, you're still not going to do much. So, who are the characters in your dreams? Do you see a mother? Do you see a lover? Do you see someone dying? Dying means the death of different aspects of you. Because one of the things is that the unconscious is not used to the physical world, and they do not know what life and death is. And so some aspect of the unconscious, some aspect of you thinks you're still in heaven, thinks you're still unincarnated. And that's why you may find that you then look at the worst case scenario to imagine or to assume what will happen. And so a mother assumes that having a child and setting the child free would mean that that child would die, or that child will never return home. And you find that as someone who has a mother instinct, you hold on too much to things and you end up suffocating it. Even in relationships, you hold on too much to what you're nurturing, thinking, I will change this person. And then you end up suffocating the person and causing the person to avoid you, because everything is an exchange of energy. And so when you're suffocating the person with love, because life must be balanced. The earth is held by two forces, positive, negative, yin and yang. It must be in balance. You instantly overshow love and you allow the person not to be able to express that love. And that's what happens even in a dynamic. And that's what the difference between a good mother and a bad mother is. A good mother is someone who learns to balance and know there's a time for me to teach, there's a time for me to allow. And a bad mother is someone who suffocates and they end up killing their children. Someone who is afraid to lose or to allow that person to make that choice because they think that that child is going to die because there is no trust in that child, or that child will never return home. Ask yourself, how have you been acting like the grieving mother? Oh, that's not the grieving mother, like the mother, the over-shoking. Because I know there's a grieving mother. Yes, spirit. Yes, there's the grieving mother. The grieving mother is someone who grieves. Sometimes it could even be, it's also similar. It's still the same. It's just different characteristics. It's also useful to actually name your characters because then you interact with them. The grieving mother is a mother that pauses and that sees a pause, or when something in your life is has gone that you nurture, could be a dream, and it may come back again, but you make an assumption that it's gone, or it's gone, but you've forgotten that when there is death, there is life. The grieving mother thinks that by staying loyal to the past or to what has been lost, they are serving your good. So that aspect of your unconscious grieves and does not move forward. that is its own definition of loyalty of love. So look at the narratives that you are experiencing in your dreams. So no matter the story of a dream, look at what is that archetype presented in the dream. For example, if you find yourself rejected in a dream, or you see your husband cheating on you, in real life, it doesn't mean that your husband is cheating on you. It means that there is a narrative, and it might mean he's cheating on you. I'm not saying it. That there is a narrative and an expectation to be rejected. So it does, and then your husband could also signify somebody that you are mirroring on, and then your husband is also you. It's also a part of you that believes that when you love, you are not committed. So it's amazing. You take a 360-degree look in the dream. Everyone is you, and how have you projected everyone? Because these also manifest in your relationships. So if you see somebody in a dream and you say, okay, so what is this? If you see your boss, who is your boss to you? Your boss is someone of leadership, right? So this is your relationship with taking a leadership role, or your relationship with people that are leaders, because this is a reflection of your relationship with yourself as a leader. There are other things to notice in the dream. It's colors. What colors are in the dream? Because when you see green, what does green mean to you? For me, when I see green, green signifies life. So when I see a green bus means healing. And then a bus is something that takes me somewhere. So pick the object. What are the objects that you see in the dreams? What are the colors? What are the emotions? And you may not remember the emotions, but as you're thinking and meditating on the dream, what emotions are coming to you? Even if you have a narrative as you're reflecting on the dream that you're not sure was in the dream, it doesn't matter. You're still dreaming. In real life, the fact that you went to visit the dream and you're meditating on the dream is developing. So the dream is speaking. The dream is multidimensional. And the meaning you have of a dream today might be different tomorrow. They are both useful, because the dream is multidimensional and it will keep changing and evolving. Then notice the objects that are there. Because whenever you are in the real world and you see something in the dream and you remember the dream, it's the dream speaking to you to take note of something. So take note of what you're doing at that time when you're dreaming, when you're in real life, and how it relates with the dream. Also, whenever you see a child in the dream, most times the child is your inner self, your inner child. The aspect of you that is, because your inner child exists, the aspect of you that wants to enjoy life, or that is hot, depending on, depending on your past also, you can define your inner child. But most times the inner child is usually the wounded aspect of us, or the one that feels alone, the part that doesn't understand. But it is a very sweet part, and it's necessary for you to actually make decisions. I have a good relationship, I think, with my inner child, because sometimes I would just buy my inner child ice cream or just scribble, because there is an aspect of you that got fragmented from a small events, and it remained. So you haven't actually grown up. As I'm saying this, my inner child, and it's also important to also locate that part, because one of the things you can do is, when you're meditating on your dream, you can ask, where is that archetype in my body? So when that archetype is expressing itself, you will know, I know where my inner child is. And so when I am speaking on behalf of my inner child, I get the call card. So the inner child is not bad. It just has a different view of life. And you need to show compassion to your inner child. And it's usually my inner child that uses the word "you need to." So your inner child wants you to acknowledge it exists. It wants you to not judge it, because you will express your inner child in life, consciously or unconsciously. But how you relate with it will determine how mature your inner child will begin to be. It's not like the inner child will mature. It just means that the grown-up aspects of you will take over more, and your inner child will watch and learn more. And then it comes out when you want it. And after a while, you will begin to have a relationship with them in the dream world and in the physical world, and you can call on any aspect of yourself to come in the real world at the time that it needs to, because sometimes you need different aspects at different times, and you don't always need to try and control them. That's what your subconscious does. Your subconscious, I see my understanding, it's like my soul. It's like the accumulation of all aspects of them, and the conscious too, and it knows when to bring different aspects of them. But until you merge with your unconscious, your subconscious will not function at the ultimate. So they actually, sometimes to do a project successfully, you need a little bit of your inner child, you need a little bit of your mother aspect, you need a little bit of your animalistic aspect. I also see myself as as a spider, and that's one of the reasons why I was very scared of spiders in my life, until I got to understand that it's what I'm afraid of that I am actually it. Now, the spider has a lot of characteristics. They see pattern, they make patterns. The spider has a lot of characteristics in the aspect of relationship, in the aspect of eyes or seeing things, and it's and it's the animalistic aspect of me that is that. And then there is I also identify with the octopus, and then there is also the more ascended aspect that is animalistic in nature to an extent. So this is just, I think I needed to say that for someone. So every aspect of you needs to come out at different times, and when we see that, we develop more understanding of ourselves. We develop more aspects of the fragmented aspects of ourselves. Every time we experience trauma, we broke down, we left an aspect of our soul in the past. But the good thing is that it's like leaving an aspect of your light. I know that it probably made your life worse initially, but now this is the time to go and collect it back. Go through the dream spaces, and there are other ways I'll probably be guiding you to do. However, you realize that everything that happened to you was beautiful. They kept your light for you, safe, so that you can go back to get it when you need it. And this is the time that you need it. And you'll be amazed at how, because they are coming at the right time for an opportunity that is supposed to come at this time. It's better they came at this time and not in the past, because those opportunities were not there in the past. And then you realize that, yeah. And then lastly, I also wanted to say that working with your soul, aspect of your souls, the more you do that, the more your dreams become vivid. It becomes more lucid, and then you go in your dream space no longer as an inactive observer, but as a active observer. You'd probably even be asking them questions and say, what does this mean? How does this mean? And then they would probably, most times they will give you back in parables, because they don't want us not to use our common sense, our logical sense too. So, but you can ask more questions in the dream, and then you can even say, okay, let's go back to yesterday's dream and let's put it side by side and weigh it and see how this dream relates, so that I can see the patterns. So it's amazing. If you like this and you find that this is useful, if there's any aspect of your dream that you probably also want me to address, I would also. Now, nobody can tell you the meaning of your dreams. I am sharing my truth so you can find your truth. But most likely, if you find yourself aligned to mine, it will be very similar, but you can build upon it because you know your life history. And then you work on your dream spaces in a journal or even interaction, depending on how you process information. I process information more through journals or even talking to myself. Yes, I didn't like that aspect of myself, but now I found out that that's part of my soul parts. So Let me know what you think. Let me see if you've also had other phenomena about the dream spaces. Let me also learn from you. Okay, thank you. And if don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Ciao. Bye.